Well, certainly my grandmother and my mother for some time lived on Whitehall Road in Norwich. From F/G4DBL, back to you.
Foxtrot stroke G4DBL from Mike 7 Foxtrot India. Well, it's lovely to hear from you, Tim. That really is, my friend. I take it, is it a case, I don't know how it works really, is it a case of you move to France and you take your call sign with you and you just have to have that in front of that, or how does it work then, Tim? Over?
Well, that's the idea. I want to move to France. I'm just on an exploratory visit for a few weeks. So while I'm temporary, you can just put the F in front of your call sign. But after 3 months, I would have to get a French full call sign, which is what I hope I'll be doing later in the year if all goes to plan. Alf, go ahead.
Foxtrot stroke Golf 4 Delta Bravo Lima from Mike 7 Foxtrot India. Well, I hope all go well for you, Tim. I really do, my friend. It must be lovely for you to be able to. France is a lovely place. I've got a couple of people I know have moved over there into southern France, actually. What would be your exact location where you are at the moment, then, Tim? Over.
Yeah, sure. I am near the town of Corbie. That's Charlie Oscar Romeo, Bravo India Golf November Yankee. About 150 miles south of Paris in the French countryside, over.
QSL, Tim. Yeah, it must be lovely for you there. Fantastic. I take it you and your family going to move out there? Is it just you, Tim, or are you going out there with your family and uprooting, or is it work, or is it pleasure, or just retirement, Tim?
Oh, definitely pleasure. Yeah, I'm very tempted when I get back in 2 or 3 weeks' time to hand in my notice and cash my pension. Put me some fancy free here. Bachelor boy looking for a femme fatale, HI, over.
Foxtrot stroke Golf 4 Delta Bravo Lima from Mike 7 Foxtrot India. Well, it all sounds wonderful, Tim, I really do. I think that's the first time we've made contact, Tim, so I will put you in my call log as well, my friend, when I get back up the house. My call log on qrz.com, just to confirm the call. But I'm down in the bottom of the garden at the moment in the Radio Shack, and I've got to go to work tomorrow, but not until I've got a late shift tomorrow, so I thought I'd come down here for a little while, and while the wife was watching TV, and have a couple of beers and chill out a little bit. It's about 9 degrees at the moment, Tim, so not too warm down here, but I've got a heater in here anyway, so. And everything seems to be going fine. You seem to be having a good time anyway. And my setup here, I don't know if you heard what my setup was, but my transceiver's Foxtrot Tango 710, and my microphone is the Wassa M70 desktop microphone. My antenna is a UK antenna, end-fade half-wave long wire with a 49-to-1 transformer. Got it configured into an inverted L, and the vertical section is about 26 foot up, and then it goes off to 90 degree straight down to the bottom of the garden, or down to the house actually, because I'm down the bottom of the garden already. And I'm only running a 25 whiskey. Mike, back to you.
That's amazing, Alf. You sound like a kilowatt here. M7 FFI, Foxtrot, stroke Golf 4 Delta Bravo Lima. Lovely. Well, similar sort of setup here with the antenna, an inverted L, but it's a bit of a new invention called a City Windham. It's a sort of a Windham feed, but you connect it at the end. It'll be a bit long-winded to describe, but if you Google City Windham antenna, you'll see how it works. So, much the same. Mine's dangling from about 30 feet at the top and sloping to the edge of the garden. Antennas are really well coupled tonight. You're peaking 5 over 9. So that 25 watts sounds like a kilowatt. Would really like to come over here. We got this Holiday QTH is a 1 acre plot, which I hope I'll make permanent and adorn it with some nice big antennas. Oh, just to say I'm running 500 watts here, which is the full legal. Great to hear, Norfolk. Yeah, my dad's family hails from Thetford, near Wrexham. And I ought to check this. I think Mum said she was born in King's Lynn, but spent a lot of time in Norwich during the war. She was a fire warden during the war. And I remember going to see my grandmother, usually for Easter, there on Whitehall Road, and we used to go round Norfolk and on the Broads. Really, really pleasant. M7 FFI, Foxtrot, Stroke, Golf 4, Delta Bravo Lima, back to you.
Foxtrot stroke Golf 4, Delta Bravo Lima from Mike 7, Foxtrot India. Well, what a lovely story there, hey? That's a small world, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not far from Norwich at all. And actually, a lot of my family did come from that direction. Strumpshire and Brundle, my family come from originally. So I don't quite remember. I wasn't a child during the war. I'm 65 this year. I'm 65, Tim, so still a youngster, really, I guess. But no, I love the radio. I've only been licensed just over a year now, Tim, and that's why I'm still stuck on 25 whiskey. I will be taking my intermediate soon, hopefully, but there's no rush. I don't want to rush it because at the end of the day, it's all about the antenna, really, and if you get the antenna working really well and really efficient, then 25 watts can pretty much work the world anyway. So trouble is, the 40-meter band is always so crammed. It's always I struggle to find a spot, a clear frequency, because there's a lot of people on there tonight, and there was a bit of noise earlier on, and a lot of the bigger stations, they just set up beside you and block you out. But I think I'm doing okay anyway, and yeah, lovely speaking with you. Really, yes, John. Tim, sorry. John was the last guy I spoke to. Yes, and I'll put the mic over to you then, Tim, for the final, my friend.
Yeah, great stuff from F-G4DBL. Yeah, lovely to meet you, Alf, and what a splendid signal you've got for the 25 watts. So you've done your homework with that antenna. And yeah, lovely to be reminded of where my family hail from, and happy days as a youngster going up to Norwich and the Norfolk Broads and everything. And okay, yeah, it does get crowded here. Yes, very crowded. But I'm not sure. I think they might eventually release up to 7.3 for us. I think they're shooing off all the broadcast stations from above 7.2 slowly. So hopefully we'll have another 100 kilohertz to play with before too long. Good luck with the intermediate. And you sound like a spring chicken at 65. You're only 1 year behind me. So I'm sure you'll do well with that. Thanks so much, Alf. Nice to round off the evening, talking back to the motherland, HI. And I hope it's the first of many. All the best and have a good night. M7 FFI, Foxtrot, Stroke, Golf 4, Delta, Bravo, Lima. Toodaloo for now.
Foxtrot stroke 4, Foxtrot stroke Golf 4, Delta Bravo Lima, from Mike 7, Foxtrot India. Yeah, thanks ever so much for the QSO, Tim, and lovely speaking with you, my friend. And when I get back up the house, I will put you in my call log on QSO.com. And I'm going to wish you and the family all the very, very best then, Tim, from East Anglia, and I hope to catch you down the line some other time. Who knows? When we speak next, you'll probably be back in the UK. Over to you, my friend, and for the final, and I'll say 73. Bye-bye.
Yeah, 73, mate, and have fun on the band. And I hope we speak soon. Good night from France, F-G4DBL, 73.
73, my friend. Bye-bye.
Yeah, are you saying enough frequency, Tim?
CQ 40, Mike 7, Foxtrot India, calling CQ on 40 meters, standing by and listening.
Sorry about that, Jim. Sorry about the station, mate.
Kilometers or more, cloud, 1,000 feet, scattered 18,000 feet, broken 25,000 feet, temperature 8, dew point 6, QNH 1003, tempo, cloud, scattered 1,000 feet. Sierra Charlie India at 2100, wind 260 degrees 4 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more, cloud, few. Military 1 times lot for information broadcast. Began at 2100, wind 260 degrees 3 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, thunderstorm, cloud, few 1,200 feet, few, cumulonimbus, 2,000 feet, temperature 28, dew point 26, QMH 1010, Mosaic. Is at 2100, wind, variable at 1 knot, cav temperature 15, dew point 11, QMH 1018. Iowa International, at 2100, wind, 020 degrees 3 knots, visibility 6 kilometers, cloud, no significant cloud, temperature 20, dew point 14, QMH 1014, Mosaic. Dakar, at 2100, wind, 330 degrees 8 knots, variable between 310 and 010 degrees, cav temperature 23, dew point 18, QMH 1009. Hotel Uniform Echo November, no information available. Hotel Sierra, no information available. Nairobi, at 2100, wind, 060 degrees 6 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, cloud, scattered 700 feet, broken 1,800 feet, temperature 18, dew point 17, QMH 1023, Mosaic. At 2100, wind, variable at 2 knots, visibility 9 kilometers, showers in vicinity, cloud, few 1,200 feet, scattered 2,000 feet, few, towering cumulus, 2,300 feet, broken 5,000 feet, temperature 25, dew point 24, QMH 1010, recent, rain.
Back on the net. What I used to do is I'd just knock the power off at the mains and run off the battery. And then, I tried the other way, like turning everything on. And the only thing that causes noise here is my backyard light. I changed it a few years ago. The old one was an arc light. It was really bright. And then I replaced it with 3 large LED. One lamp, about 18-inch by 16-inch by about 6-inch deep. It's got 3 big LEDs in it. And I left it on by mistake one night, and I turned the radio on, and I couldn't hear bugger all. But I soon figured out it was only that backyard light, so, I don't use it when I'm on the radio. So that cured that. The one thing you might try is the balanced aerial. Buy some of that 450 ohm ribbon. Put the biggest piece of wire up you can, equal distance either side. Get it as high off the ground as you possibly can. For this band you want it up at 67 feet off the deck. Then the feed line impedance will be to 70 or 72 ohms. And then by a balanced network, a balanced tuner, a Z-Match or a balanced T network, you might still have a high noise floor, but it's a more efficient way of putting the signal out.
Yeah, Roger, I'll have to try it. And that sounds like a good idea. I've just written all that down. And I'll give it a go, because I have got a lot of LEDs down here in the office. In the house, so it's quite possible I'm picking up some noise from them as well. But it's not too bad. It's just obviously the problem is when you've got a signal 7 or 8 of noise and you've got signal coming in at around about the same, it's very difficult to hear them, which is a bit of a shame. So I really want to try and knock it on the head a bit if I can. I'm hoping when I put up a couple of normal antennas, once I get the planning permission, I'm hoping that will help as well, to be fair. But I will certainly try what you said there.
Yeah, if you give me an email, tell me who you are, put your call sign in and your name. I've got a load of decent books here on aerials, proper books on aerials and stuff. And I can send them to you in PDF format. I can even send you some aerial designs if you want. But all I need to know is the distance from the bottom of the back garden to the very front of the front garden gate post. That distance. and then you put up the biggest aerial you can, you feed it in the middle, and you get it as high off the ground as you can, and that's the only way really to do it.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, that's, well, with my wire that I'm using, I didn't live in a bungalow anyway. I'm a bit of a disadvantage there. So I've got it up on a pole, but it's not very high. I'm going to try and raise it at the weekend. We did it a bit last weekend and moved it slightly and it improved it. And got it more and running in like a V configuration. But I'm going to be putting up a Delta loop at some point, and I've got one of these iMac 2000s that I'm going to put up. And if they don't work, I might toy with one of these cobweb antennas. But unfortunately, I've got to get planning permission for all of that, and that takes a few weeks, which is bloody annoying, to be quite honest with you.
Never ever applied for planning permission in the last 4 properties I lived in, and they've never bothered me. But there's a better one than that Himax 2000, a mate of mine. I've got a Himax 2000, it's on a 30-foot tube, but it's okay. But my mate's got a Stereo, I can't think of the model of it, it's got loads of radios, Stereo 2070 something, I don't know. It's a Stereo one with about 8 radios at the bottom, and it'll outperform the Himax.
Stereo 827, Stereo 827, over. And I was going to buy a Stereo 8, it's called the Stereo 827, it's got about 8 metre long radials that go out the bottom of it. And then I thought, I'm going to do that, and I spoke to a couple of people, and they said, we're using Overlooking iMac 2000, was a really good antenna. And I thought, I'll get that, because it's got it hasn't got the radial, so it's probably got a bit of a lower profile, so the neighbours won't notice it, because if I put it up without permission, somebody in my village will complain. They're a funny old lot. And so I bought the iMac 2000, but I was going to buy the 827 because I know it is an absolute beast of an antenna.
Yeah, it's the better one. A mate of ours that comes on late at night, he uses one, and it outperforms my Stereo. Oh, M1M0, I keep forgetting your bloody name. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was saying it's a Stereo 827. Stereo 827. My name is Brian. Boston Radio, Italy, America, Norway. Or the English name is Brian. The 827, and you can get a ring that goes round the radio. It stops all that bloody whistling noise over.
Yeah, that's what our mate Simon, the farmer, uses. I mean, he's got loads of land and he's got some pretty decent aerials, and that's what he uses. And he works everybody. He works bloody everybody. You know, he comes on some nights and he's worked half a dozen people in South America and whatever. And it really works well for him.
Yeah, that Stereo 827 is a well put together antenna. For the SWR, you're right at the top. You need to. There's a little one that comes out with a grub screw in, a Turco screw with a hexi screw, and that gives you SWR. But what you do, the sections are intersections, and you don't push them in, you push them up from the bottom over.
Yeah, no, I've seen them, but I put up one of them Himax 2000s, but I very rarely go on 10 metres. It's odd, really, because usually Simon's on by about this time of night.
I can't bother 10 metres. It's all the bloody idiots in round here. They're all on 27,555.
Yeah. Most of them on that frequency, by the way, at least locally, most of them are amateurs.
I keep away from it. Keep away from it, a load of pricks. Anyway, I'm going to go, lads. I'm busy. I've got 4 minutes to do off this print. I'm busy making a chessboard on the 3D printer, and it's got 4 minutes to do and it's finished.
Hey Brian, have you got a carrier on here right at the edge of the band? It's been here since I came on tonight. Initially I thought it was a Pratt tuning up.
It's Been there for bloody ages.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it other nights, but I've got it tonight.
Okay then, watch what you're doing. I'll catch you later on. And I'll finish my big printing. I'll finish my pint, and I'll wait in the cot there. Good night.
Is it Man's Brown Ale or what you call it? What's the other one? Newcastle Brown.
I'm drinking the dog. Tell you what it is. If I go to Aldi or Lidl up the top of the street, I can get it for £1.75. If I go to the pub, it's £6, so I drink the bugger in the house.
I used to like that Man's Brown Ale, but you don't see it in the pubs around here now.
Oh, get it in the bottle, man. Newcastle Brew there. I drink it by the gallon. I tell you what, I worked in Worcester for a while, and the barman said to me, he says, what do you want to drink? I said, you got no Newcastle Brown Ale? He says, that's Madman's Blood. I said, it's Madman's Blood. I said, go and get some. He says, I can only give you 4 a night. I said, I drink 4 an hour.
No, I used to drink it when I used to go into JB's. It was a club in the town. We used to go into JB's nightclub, and I think Newcastle Brown Ale and Guinness were the 2 best sellers.
Oh, without a doubt. Guinness. Oh, I love Guinness. There's only one thing you give Guinness does to me, mind, I'm going to tell you the truth. It gives me high blood pressure over.
Yeah, well, it turns my poo black.
It turns everybody's poo black. And I tell you what it is, they used to give you it in hospital when you were poorly.
I think they did many years ago. They gave it to pregnant women, didn't they? I don't know whether it was a good idea or not, really.
Okay, nice speaking to you there. Good evening and very good night there. This is M0EXM in the county of... I'm in between Sunderland and Durham, but I'm nearer Durham than where I am Sunderland, because that's a Firkin Chidwell.
Good night, Brian. Take it steady, mate.
Good night. I'll speak to you soon there. Regards to everybody who's listened. Bye.
You still working, Roger?
Which Roger? This Roger? Mike 7 Yankee Papa Delta?
Yeah, no, I know the other Roger's well into his 70s. I know he's not working. Well, he probably is working harder than ever now that he's in his 70s. But he's not officially working. M7 Victor Yankee Papa Delta.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or another Roger that was on it. Yeah, no, I'm still working. Yeah, I'm still working.
So what do you do for a living?
I'm a videographer and photographer, and I'm a licensed drone operator, so I do a lot of drone filming and stuff like that. Mostly properties and things like that for developers and that sort of thing. But occasionally I get the odd bit of drone filming for a commercial or something, or the news or something like that. But I do photography and videography as a living. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to get a drone. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to make aircraft, balsa wood aircraft and glow plug engines and stuff. And I did think of getting one of them DJI Phantom 4 drone with a quick release on the bottom, to haul some fishing line over a tree and then attach the aerial to the end of the fishing line and that sort of thing. But I haven't got round to it. I did buy a cheap drone, which is bloody useless. Should have bought the expensive one in the first place. But I used to fly model aircraft as a kid. We used to make them. Mainly glow plug ones and whatever. But I did think I'd be bad getting one of them I think it's a DJI Phantom 4, but they might do a better model nowadays, are it?
Yeah, they've all changed now. Most of them are the DJI Mavic. So you got the what they call the DJI Mini 4 Pro, or the Mini 3 Pro is still a good little drone for hobbyists. And because they're sub 250 grams, there's no restrictions with them, so you can fly them wherever you like, but they're probably not man enough to pull a line. They might be, but you'd have to be careful. And then you've got the Mavic, which are the Mavic Cine, which are like what they call a prosumer drone. I've got one of them. And then you've got the big commercial stuff and the big professional stuff. My big drones, like what they call the DJI Inspire 3, which is their new big top of the range one. Bloody expensive, cost of a car, a good second-hand car to buy it. But yeah, I mean, all my stuff is DJI, and quite honestly, if you're going to buy a drone, there's no point buying anything else. They're the best there is, without question. Most stable, the best built, most reliable. The customer service sucks, but the actual equipment is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so I've got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them, I think. Only 3 of them are active. But yeah, I do that, keeps me busy, along with some handheld filming and a bit of photography when it comes in. Been doing it for a long time now. Back to you.
Yeah, I used to do a bit of photography years ago with film cameras. I had some nice, 35mm cameras, Contax RTS2 and all Zeiss T-Star lenses and stuff like that, but I'm not bothered about it anymore. Not interested really in photography. But I'd buy one of these drones, put a fishing line reel on the bottom of it, so it could, just go up a couple of 100 feet, fly over a couple of trees, land it, then attach a bit of wire in your insulator and just to haul aerials up into the sky, really. No other reason than that. But I did buy some weather balloons years back, and I never used it. I bought 6, and a couple of mates had a few weather balloons off me. But I was going to get hold of a load of helium till I found out the price of it. But the one lad, Brian, he's passed away now, but Brian was a surgeon, and he had access to helium, well, by mistake. So he swiped it from the hospital and used it to fill up one of the weather balloons that I'd sent him. And he ran a piece of wire up about 500 feet in the sky at night and then came on the radio with it, and he was a bloody absolute pumping signal over.
I bet it was. Yeah, you could do that. You could run a wire over a tree with a drone. You'd have to do it so you attach the wire straight up to the highest altitude that you could to get over the tree, and leaving yourself still a good sort of like 50 feet or something clearance, and then fly over, because the problem you might have is that the line snags on the tree, it could bring the drone down. So you'd need to think about how you're going to do it. The best way would be to fly it straight up to its maximum or to its altitude that you need, and then fly over. But you'd have to be careful, because obviously if it came down, it's like if you're in the middle of a field and there's no one around you, and if it comes down it just crashes in the field. So you've got to be careful you don't come down and hit somebody. That's the problem. Technically you're not supposed to do it. Technically and legally you're not supposed to have anything hanging from the drone. But I suppose if you're in a big enough field and a big enough area, I think that guy on YouTube, I think he's done it. I can't remember, I could be wrong. I suppose you could do it. You'd have to be careful though. The chances of it coming down are quite high.
Yeah, no, I've already thought it out. I mean, the reel, if you have the reel on the ground and you attach the loose end of the reel to the drone, and about 40 feet down the line, you attach fishing weights, right? So you fly it up to, we'll say, 250 feet. There's only a few trees, and then you go across the trees, then you bring the drone down. The fishing weights will stop it from getting tangled or blown or caught up in the rotors, and you can do it that way quite easily over.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. That would work. The fishing weights would stop the lines from getting tangled up. You just need to make sure you leave yourself enough line so you can bring it down. But it just depends where you're going to do it. I think if you're in a field and and there's no one around, you'll be okay. But you won't want one of them fishing weights that coming off and falling on a car or somebody from 150 feet. That would hurt.
No, just the trees at the back of the house. There's a lot of trees at the back of the house and a very steep bank. It's about 120 feet high. So from the base of the mast to the top of the bank, the ground elevates by about 120 feet. So it's a very steep bank. Even if you go up it, you have to crawl up it more or less on all fours. But there's a strip of trees about 30 feet deep, and it's just to get over them. I've done them in the past with a catapult, but you'd be more accurate with the drone.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, do it. You do it. If you've got one of the more meteor ones, like the Mavic 3 or something like that, that would have the power to do it. The Mini 3, I think, would be a bit too light to do it. I think you'd need something with a bit of weight to it. The Mini 3 is only sub 250 grams, about 249 grams, and that's not very much weight at all. You put a couple of fishing lines on that, it's going to struggle, or a couple of fishing weights, though, it's going to struggle. But the Mavic 3 would do it. And the Flyer 3 would certainly do it. That thing is massive. When I fly that, it sounds like a bloody helicopter. I don't fly it in a lot of built-up spaces because, although legally I can because I'm licensed, as soon as I take it up in the air, people start wondering what you're up to because it makes so much noise. It's ridiculous. It sounds like a bloody helicopter.
Well, the one I fancied was the Phantom 4. Would that lift it?
Yeah, Phantom 4 would lift it if you can find one. They don't make them anymore, I don't think. I think they discontinued them a long time ago, but they were a really popular drone. And they've got a bit more clearance underneath the propellers, so they would actually be ideal for it because you could tie it to the legs. But yeah, that would do it. Phantom 4 would get it over there. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just looking one up now on the internet. Phantom 4 to go.
Yeah, they'd get it over there. They got the power, and they got more height. The Mavics are more streamlined. They sit much closer to the ground, so there's still a risk that to do it with a Mavic or something like that, you'd have to hand launch it. But with the Phantom 4, because it sits on those quite tall legs, it'd be a bit safer to do it with that. I would have thought. You just have to make sure there's no people around when you do it.
Yeah, I found them on not eBay. I found them on Amazon. I'm just looking for the price. Hang on.
7-3 Tony, Chief on ICI.
You off to bed?
I am, yes.
Anyway, see if you can add me on that bloody program, that that WhatsApp.
Okay, I'll look out for you, Chief on ICI.
Did you get my telephone number? I don't know whether you need to have my telephone number to add me, or whether you just put my username in.
I don't know. Tell me your phone number again. 44.
Okay, 01384. Hold on a minute. Let me look at the profile because it might be my mobile number. Hang on.
If you're talking about WhatsApp, you need the mobile number to add somebody.
Okay, yeah, it's the mobile number. It's +44 7505075 725. I will repeat, +44 7505075 725. And you'll recognise me because I'm a devilishly good-looking bloke.
Okay, Tony, thanks very much. I'll experiment tomorrow. 7-3.
Good night, Roger. Take care.
Good night. Good night, Divo Station. Yeah, good night. I could just about hear you then, so yeah, 73 is here. Good night. Yeah, you're 5 and 9 this end, but I've only got about 3 of noise, so you're alright, over.
He said he could hear you fine. He's only got S3 of noise where he lives.
Oh, I'm telling him I'm moving to his house then, because I'm sick and tired of this now. I've only been back on for a little while. It's driving me up the wall.
Yeah, because send me, is your computer turned on? Send me an email.
No, it's all closed down, Tony. I'll do it tomorrow.
Oh, no, I didn't mean you, Roger. I meant Roger number 2.
Okay, 7-3. Sorry to confuse you.
Cheerio, mate. Take care. one?
What, for DJI Phantom 4?
Yeah, on that bloody what-you-call-it website. Hang on, let me close that. Amazon.
Yeah, that's not right. They're not worth that now. I mean, I don't think they even make them anymore now. I mean, they are a good drone, and the camera on them was really good. And they are still quite popular, still quite sought after by a lot of people, but I wouldn't have thought they'd be worth $2,000, not now.
No, neither would I. I didn't know that they'd gone out. But DJI Phantom 4 there, I'm going to clicked on another one. Oh, it took me back to the same website. What's the price on this one? Oh, God, I wish they'd be clearer. They give all these bloody options. I just want to know the price. Oh, that's better. 1,700 quid, all but a quid.
That's not too bad. Not too bad if it's a Phantom 4. Is it what? It should be white. Is it white?
Yeah, it's a white one. It's, let me try and look up the details. Hang on.
Make sure it's definitely a DJI though, because there's so many bloody copies around.
Yeah, DJI Phantom, serial features, obstacle avoidance, average range, average age range, 16 to 18, video 720, advanced aerodynamic stability, double tap for easy flight, multiple flight modes, front flight sensor, fly for longer with better battery. So it comes with some optional batteries as well, I think.
Yeah, Roger. As long as they're DJI batteries, if they're third-party batteries, then spin them off because they're just too unreliable. If they're DJI batteries, you're fine. Yeah, no, I mean, the camera on it's a bit old now. I think, I think it was 720 resolution. We're on 8K now. I mean, the drones I'm flying are 6K and 8K, but that's not exactly relevant for what you're after. If you just want something to run a bit of line over, that will do it. Just make sure there's no people around when you do it. Otherwise you can get yourself into bother. But if you're careful with it, and it's just, you work it out, you should be able to do it.
I used to fly those bloody aircraft years ago. There was no need for licenses or anything years back. No, none of my neighbours would complain. They'd come out and watch.
Unfortunately, mate, we've got the media to thank for that, because they jumped on the whole bandwagon that drones are bad, and everybody that uses a drone is up to no good. So the media jumped on it, and they gave them such a bad rep, such bad press, that it was anything that went wrong in the air, it was a drone. Years ago, when we were kids, it was a UFO. But nowadays, you see a plastic bag flying through the air, bloody airlines will tell you it's a drone, or traffic control will tell you it's a drone. Any excuse, really. It's a pain in the arse. The restrictions on them are so ridiculous. It makes it, sometimes you wonder how you even get off the ground, to be honest with you. But perfectly safe, and to be honest with you, 99.9% of people that have got one are just doing it because they enjoy the hobby. It doesn't matter what you do, whether it be drones, whether it be radio, whether it be cycling, whether it be cars. There's always going to be idiots and twats that just mess it up for everybody. But unfortunately, in the drone community, we've all been tarred with the same brush.
Oh, yeah, well, they did the same to me, and, everybody who held a firearm certificate back in 1991, after Michael Ryan murdered those people in Hungerford, they outlawed all the firearms.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, it's the same. I've got a shotgun certificate myself, because I like doing a bit of clay pigeon shooting from time to time. And I've always fancied doing, I'm in a process of doing the firearms, but you can't get handguns anymore because they banned them, just because of one idiot. I mean, I know it was horrible and it was tragic and it was some blame business, it was an awful thing. They punished the wrong people for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't completely ban the handguns. They banned auto pistols, so, 9mm, 45s and whatever. They banned that type of auto pistol, large caliber, but you can still have a 2.2 rimfire auto, and you can still have a 2.2 rimfire rifle. And you can still have a handgun, but it's probably got to be a black powder. So if you look at the old cowboy films, right, you got a lever underneath the barrel. You put the lead slug in, you squeeze it in. You put the powder in, you put the powder in from, well, it depends whether it's one with a primer or not. But you can have a black powder revolver, you know, like the original cowboy guns, not the ones that you see, you know, in the movies with the metallic cartridge. So you can still have a black powder revolver.
Yeah, Roger, I think that's right, actually, yeah, you can. I think if you use like normal, what used to be handguns, they have to have a long barrel on, and that thing that comes out the back like a shoulder butt, don't they, to make them longer. But it's a shame really, because I reckon as far as shooting is concerned, live rounds and that, I reckon shooting a handgun down a range of targets, and that would be a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment.
Well, I used to reload. Well, for me and my brothers, we used to do reload our own ammo. And I guess we used to reload about 8,000 to 10,000 rounds every 14 days. But there again, there was 4 or 5 of us shooting. But I shot a hell of a lot, you know. It wouldn't be unusual for me to go onto the range and squeeze off 600 or 700 rounds in a day.
Costs you a lot of money nowadays. I like doing the clay shooting, and I'm going to have to do firearms because I want to do that. I fancy having a go at the old practical shotgun shooting, and because they're sort of like 8 to 10 round shotguns, you have to have a firearm for that. So I've just done my doctor thing. The doctor, just to do the letter, charged me 90 quid.
My crack had signed mine for nothing. I didn't know, if you have a shotgun on an FAC. I mean, my favourite shotgun of all time actually was a Remington Auto, where it had an 8-round magazine tube on it. Well, it was 5 rounds of 3-inch Magnum, but with the extensor tube, I think it was 8 rounds of 3-inch Magnum. That was good. Did you know, that shot really well, that did. I did have a what you call it, a posh shotgun as well, which I hardly ever used. It was a Browning Satori over and under. I never really used it. I preferred my auto. And my brother had a nice 1897 Winchester pump. A mate of mine had a trench broom with the 18-inch barrel, but that was on FAC. Had some, wasn't really big into shotguns, mainly sniper rifles. Heckler & Koch G3, Heckler & Koch HK91, Heckler & Koch PSG, Walter WA2000, mainly sniper rifle thrower.
Yeah, Roger, I've always fancied doing a bit of that. Yeah, my shotgun, I've got 2, but the remaining one that I used for plays is a Browning 725 Pro Trap. So I do a lot of trap shooting and Olympic trap shooting, you know, so you know, the stuff that goes in a straight line away from me, that was really fast. So you've got like this big raised rib on it, and I had a custom-made stock of 4-in made for it in Italy, made to fit me personally, and that's a lovely gun. I love firing that, and I use that when I go clay shooting. That's the main gun. I've always fancied doing sniper stuff and the rifle stuff. So you can have a normal shotgun certificate skill with a I think up to a 3-shot shotgun, but anything over 3 shots, like for the stuff for the practical shotgun shooter where you shoot multiple targets really quickly, they shoot 8 or 10 rounds, so you have to have an FAC for that. I'm in the middle of trying to do it, but to be honest with you, it kind of took a backseat because I got prostate cancer diagnosis at the end of last year, so I've been dealing with that. So it's kind of taking a bit of a backseat at the minute, but I will get back into it at some point.
You want to get hold of one of them, I don't know if you can get hold of them now, it's called a Striker 12. It's an auto shotgun. I don't know if they're available now. I think they were made in South Africa.
I've not heard of them. I'll look online every now and again to see what's about. There's some nice ones around. I mean, and they're not necessarily terribly expensive. You can get a really nice new gun for, $1,000. But I mean, my Browning, when I bought that cost me, I think, nearly $3,000 to buy that. But yeah, at some point I'll pick it back up again. I've done my doctor's certificate and they had the luxury of charging me 90 quid for that. And then I've just got to fill in the rest of the paperwork and upload it onto the Kent Police website so they can all be processed. But I fancy doing it. I reckon it'd be a bit of a giggle. I do like shooting. I love the smell of gunpowder. It's just an amazing smell. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't take part in much shotgun stuff because I weren't that bothered about it really. But me and a mate, we used to have, he'd got a farm. And we bought about 4 launchers and 10,000 clays, and I practiced every day for about 6 months, near enough, practically every day. And then some lads turned up at our range, and they said they were invited there to on a rifle shoot. Well, I didn't know who had invited them, but there was about 30 of us on the range, most of us with military rifles, and we gave them a day shooting for nothing. And they said, "Oh, come down to this bloody club in Worcester. Clay pigeon shoot." I think there was about 40 positions there, you know. Well, I'd never been to a clay pigeon shoot other than the one that we used to set up ourselves. And there must have been about 300 people there, something like that. Miserable bloody day. So they give you a card and you go around the course and they mark the card, what you've hit, what you've missed and whatever. Anyway, it's pissing down the rain at the end and there's a massive log cabin. And I thought there was loads of expensive shotguns just leaning up against the side of this cabin. And it was pouring down the rain. Some of these shotguns must have been $8 or $9,000, you know. So I just took the end tube off mine, pulled the barrel out of the auto, walked in there, got my cleaning kit out and started cleaning it. So cleaned it, dried it all off, sprayed it with silicone oil, put it back together and threw it in the gun bag. And then the scores came through. My mate Dabble won. Dabble's brother, Graham, came second, and lo and behold, I'd never done it before in my life, I come third, and we beat at least 300 guys, you know. But they're bloody useless, you know. They turned up in these barber jackets and all this gear and green Wellingtons, and I turned up in a pair of Australian jungle boots, long johns, pair of Levi jeans, an M65 combat jacket with a body liner, and a Levi shooting sweatshirt, and we shot the pants off them all over.
I reckon that was probably quite a good feeling. You do see some of them out there. They spend. I mean, it's easy to spend a lot of money on it, but I don't wear all the shooting clothes because I'm too tall and too big to get anything that fits. I wear a shooting vest so I can put my cartridges in, and that's it, you know. But I bet that was quite a good feeling to beat all that lot.
Well, we were never invited back again. I think Double got a Jerry Boa champagne and about 100 quid. His brother got a smaller bottle and about 50 quid, and I got a bottle of some fizzy wine and some rubbish wine. But we were never invited back ever again.
They didn't want you to show them up. That's what that was. I'll tell you that. That's what it was. You showed them up. They didn't want it again. They thought, no, we're not having them back.
Yeah. I used to go to Bisley as well and shoot on the Century range at Bisley. And the one time I turned up at Bisley, and it was the Green Jackets, Raw Green Jackets, and it was their sniper team. Anyway, they were on the 1,000-yard range, or 1,000 metres, I can't remember now. And I shot the pants off the lot of them. I was getting 20 out of 20 at 1,000 yards, but I was using a HK PSG sniper rifle over it.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd love to do a bit of that. My dad was a rifleman in the Home Guard.
Hello.
He was a sniper rifleman.
Hello, Charlie.
He couldn't get into the forces because he was deaf in one ear, and they wouldn't let him in. But he joined the Home Guard after he went into the fire service originally, but he was only 17 and he got kicked out when they found out he was underage. But yeah, I've always fancied doing a bit of rifle work. My next door neighbour, he's got firearms and he's got a couple of lovely firearms, a couple of lovely rifles, and we go shooting sometimes. It's good fun. I just enjoy doing it. I only do clay shooting. I'm not into shooting game or anything like that. He does a lot of game shooting, and and that sort of thing. I'm not into that at all, but I've never been to Bisley. I always fancied going up there, actually. It was always a plan to go up to Bisley, up to the shoot up there, do some clay shooting, but never got round to it. It's not that far from me. It's probably only a couple of hours or so. It's not too bad. At some point I'll get round to doing it.
Hey, Roger, there's a guy over in Germany, the German enemy. Give Charlie a call.
Hey, Charlie, you got a copy on Mike 7 Yankee Papa Delta back to you? Yeah, unfortunately I cannot join the group tonight. I have got a terrible problem with QR Mary. It is probably due to my left dipole here. One leg is lying on ground. So I go to bed, say 7 to 3 to you all. This is DG1YHJ, and I urgently need to get up my dipole back where it belongs to me. Like I said, it is one half is lying on ground, so terrible noise, 10 over noise. So, yeah, 7-3 guys.
Good night, Charlie. Give my regards to your mother. Put up that 2-element beam that you used to run years ago. That was brilliant, Charlie.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. That was absolutely superb. And also my Delta Loop array was terribly strong into G. But this is all years ago. Donkey's years ago. Incredible. 7-3 guys, DG1YJ, see you soon.
Just before you go, Charlie, just give Mexico 7. Give Charlie, just say Charlie a few times, and Charlie, give the M7 a signal report, please. Over.
Roger. M7, go ahead. Yeah, Charlie, you got a copy on Mike 7 Yankee Papa Delta. Charlie, if you can hear me, you're coming in, I can hear you, but you're bringing in so much rubbish with you, it's hard to make out what you're saying. You signal wise, you're giving me just over the 9, but there's just too much stuff coming in with you. But whether you can hear me or not, I don't know. Is that you? Yeah. Okay, Mexico 7 Yankee Papa Delta. This is Delta Golf 1 Yankee Hotel America. I can hear you okay, basically. You are 10 over 9 with me. 10 over 9. The noise threshold is roughly above 5 dB over S9, and some peaks are definitely going above this. So it's not an armchair copy of you both tonight. So please forgive me. You can put the blame on me. It's on my side. Like I said, one half of the dipole is lying on ground, and that caused me a terrible noise. It's probably nothing to do with the band. 7-3 DG1YHJ, bye-bye.
Good night, Charlie. I've just wound it up to 1,000 whiskies.
Yeah, it's 20 over 9, but there are some spikes, and they are so strong. It's an absolute terrible noise here, an absolute terrible noise. It's all the end, all everywhere on the band, from 360 until up to 3799 or what it is. It's absolutely incredible.
I think that's local to you, Charlie. It's noisy here tonight, but it's average about S7.
Yeah, it's definitely coming from here, and it's a very aggressive, bright, white noise. So heavy, massive spikes in it, and my God, it causes me a headache here. I cannot go on talking. That's 3. I will be back soon with a better antenna. Promise you.
Good night, Charlie. Take care. Pass my regards on to Mum.
Yeah, she is doing absolutely fine. She is getting younger day by day. It's an absolute, it's a wonder.
Okay. See you, Charlie. Take care.
Yeah, same to you. 7-3. Bye-bye. Cheerio.
7-3, Charlie. Hope to catch you again sometime where we can hear you better.
Yeah, good night, sir. I'm on 100 watts. 100 watts. Roger, 73. Okay, bye-bye.
Roger, I'm going to call it a night. It looks like none of my mates are coming on. They would have been on over an hour ago. I think John over in Ireland, I think his brother's stopping with him. Normally Simon's on, but Simon hasn't shown up tonight, or Cliff. So I wish you a good night. Send us an email, put your name and your call sign on it. I've got some really decent books on aerials. and if you follow what's in the book, you can't go wrong.
Okay, Tony, yeah, lovely, thanks for that. I'll do that tomorrow if that's alright. I'm going to call it a night and go get some shut-eye before I get up for work in the morning. Good chatting to you, and I'll catch you again sometime soon, all being well. Tell me through to you, buddy, thank you.
Cheerio, Mexico, number 1, Echo, uniform, Zulu, clear.
Mike 7, Yankee Papa Delta, clear.
It's not a particular problem. Well, it was for you for a while, but so that's what we do with them as well. So see that flush them down the toilet. But anyway, so that was that. But I'm hoping at some point to get another largish one. But they are expensive. I was in another garden when we walked down through Bath on the way back from this Priory Park thing. There's a garden centre there with an aquatic centre in there, and went in and they got tanks full of goldfish. I mean, you can buy some small ones. I mean, they're like small goldfish. Like I think they had them on for £4 each. I know like the fish you used to get in the fair, you know, in the little bags. £4 each, or it was 4 for 12 quid. Something like that. So you saved a quid if you bought 4 of them. But they were quite small. But you start getting to anything like a noble size, and Boris was, I suppose he was about what, 5 to 6 inches? I mean, that sort of fish, you can spend 30, 40, these are goldfish, mine, not koi's. I mean, the koi's, I mean, they're like, wow, they're like 300-400 quid. So I don't think I'll ever bother with them. I mean, you know, if one of them died, I mean, I'd be organising a funeral service for that amount of money. Cost more than a dumb cat. But, yeah, so anyway, Boris got buried, and got a slab on top of him. He ain't been dug up yet, so that's alright. So there we are. So it's all, yeah, this pond is certainly eventful. Gives me something to do apart from playing tennis and doing amateur radio. Right, anyway, I'm going to call it a day there, if you don't mind, Pete. Thanks very much for the chat, and I shall look forward to working you probably the same time. Well, next it's May, I think May the 1st, and then next is May the 1st, that's election day, isn't it? I don't know, probably got it wrong, can't remember, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, 7-3 for now, I'll see you on G4FJH. Yeah, okay, yeah, I think it might be. There is an election coming out. We got something, I think. I've seen a thing. I don't know if you said if you found out what he died of. I mean, was he chewed up, like the cat got him or something, or a bird, or... We lost a couple of koi to herons, but of course they took them right away, really. And, you know, I just saw the debris, really, on the side of the pond where they'd had a go at it and chopped it up a bit, really, and ate it. Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate. But yeah, you pay a fortune for big fish. We got ours fairly cheap because we had several places round by us in Fareham where they used to breed them, and a guy was quite enthusiastic, and he used to breed a lot of them, but he never had a big business, so I think he had a bit of a problem moving them on, really, at times, and he used to knock them down at certain times of the year. But yeah, they can be worth a lot if they're big fish. You spend some money on them. But yeah, if you get one die, what I tend to do is I'd hang on before you put any more in there, I think. Just in case you get an outbreak of something. I don't think you have, because they can just go. I mean, it can be sudden change in temperature or something can get them. You know, I remember I had one as a kid in a tank in the lounge, and I think he jumped out about 4 times, and we found him, and he was actually stuck to the carpet and gone all dry, one side or something. We put him back in the water, and he sank to the bottom, and the following day he come back to life. I mean, I just couldn't believe it, really. I think that was when we got a local fairground or something like that, really, but that's what they're like. But yeah, it can be a bit of a funny thing like that, you can get them, but I wouldn't replace any until you go a few weeks, and just that usually sort of gives you the info. Normally it's when the water gets too warm,
they go into shock. That's the worst thing about it. But yeah, I put a net over mine, or my plan was to put a net over it. I just never got round to it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just you get into the routine. I try and get into the routine of going around and doing it. The worst thing is you get a bit of a storm, and we get all sorts of garbage go in there, then leaves and all types of stuff, really. That's the problem. It's not so bad with the old stuff falling when it gets some really stormy weather or something. All right, nice to talk anyway, and we'll catch up again same time next week. Yeah, it's a couple of, not next Monday after, I think the 5th is the bank holiday. It's just the way it falls sometimes, isn't it, with Easter being a bit late and whatever. I think it's only 2 more weeks or something, and then it's the end of the one at the end. It's only 2-3 weeks in between it, I think. But like you say, seems to be never ending. I feel a bit cheated these days because we don't have bank holidays as such. Now you're retired, so you sort of feel you've been cheated out or something. But there you go. All right, see you again anyway. T4FJ8, T8, TXK clear.
Yes, KT4FJ8. Right, quickly on the fish. No, there was no evidence of any damage on it. It wasn't injured at all. It has, I mean, really, ever since we've had the thing, he always, to me, it looked like he was, he had special educational needs. He had eyes pointing in the different directions. You know, he was a bit like that fish on the Simpsons, when you got 3 eyes. He didn't have 3 eyes, he had 2 eyes, but they were pointing in different directions. And he always swam a little bit on his side. He looked a bit surly. You know, you wouldn't want to meet him on a dark night, sort of thing. There's something about him anyway, and I don't think he was very well right from the beginning, but yeah, he lasted a few months, because when did we get the pump in October or something like that, so he's lasted 6 months or so. But I think he had underlying health conditions, put it that way. But I'd already sort of decided to sort of, just leave it a little bit, but we've got like another 7 or 8 fairly large little goldfish in there, fairly largish ones, and they all seem okay. And we've got a shoal of about 20 like little ones, the ones that were actually hatched out in that pond. Or hatched out in the pond before, I should say, in the weed in the pond before. Because we couldn't put it down there it was when we changed ponds, all these little ones, and they all seem pretty active and scampering around all over the place. I would have thought if there was a disease, it would have, I don't know, I would have thought it would have affected the little ones first, as opposed to taking out the big daddy, as it were. But I don't know, what do I know about fish? But yeah, it's been about a week anyway. It's come up to a week since he was planted, and all the others seem okay. So yeah, I'm not in any great sort of rush. I mean, Paul said that I can go over with a bucket and get another one anyway. He's got loads of them up there. So I'll do that when I feel ready. We'll see, but there we go. Okay, 7-3 then. Have a good few days. Enjoy the sun. Stuck on the screen and all the rest of it, and I'll see you on G4FJH.
Yeah, cheers and beers. See you on G8TXK clear.
About 8 or 9 at primary school about her cat Ginger, the smartest cat in the world. And it was a story all about how they caught a burglar because Ginger's hair got onto the burglar, and when he cuddled him or stroked him when the burglar broke in, and they found the hair on the burglar, and they knew that's Ginger's hair, so he's the burglar. Anyway, interesting story. That's about it, really, for me. Okay. Oh, yeah, just quickly, they took all the blood tests last week. I got the results today. They couldn't find anything wrong with me from those blood tests. So that's why they decided to do another one.
HbA1c. So he took all that blood today, and in a couple of weeks' time I'll go back in again and I'll find out. Is there anything to do with HbA1c is the problem. So they're a bit stumped as to what it is, but anyway. Never mind. It's round to you then, I think, James. You're back. Mike Zero, Sugar Tango, Papa, Golf Mike 8, Juliet, Charlie Foxtrot and Company listening.
Curses, fooled again. We'd have got away with it if it wasn't for that pesky cat. Yeah, mine's getting a bit multi as well. Roxy is actually. I suppose you could get a similar effect if you damp the brush a little bit first, or just spray them with like a water, like the plant sprayer things. I don't know quite how your cat would put up with that, to be honest, but Roxy quite likes the brush. Samuel wasn't too keen on it. And he got quite multi as well before he disappeared, bless him. But yeah, she's getting quite multi now. I give her a sort of daily brush at the minute, but she quite likes the brush anyway. It's part of her sort of getting up in the morning ritual sort of thing. She gets a bit of a brush. Normally what I do, I get out of bed, I usually just put like the little halogen heater on, just one bar of that, just get a little bit of warmth on. She likes to sit in front of that and just sort of have a bask in front of that. Maybe have a little play with her catnip mouse, her cotton wrap. And then she has a brush. Yeah, she has a little bit of sort of roll around on the floor, they do that sort of thing. I've got a photo of her doing one of her favourite things is when she's having her sort of roll around on the floor. She'll do this thing where she's got half of her is facing in one direction and half of her is like 180 degrees in the other. So her front half is like facing sort of one way and the other half is like 180 degrees the other way. It's absolutely mad. You wouldn't have thought any animal could be that flexible, but there you are. So that's quite impressive. That's one of the. I think I've got a few photos of that on that broken phone, so that'll be worth retrieving those as well. But yeah, so it's that sort of time. Then once it gets warm once the weather stays warm for a few weeks, their body clock starts telling them, they start molting. So yeah, you get enough fur off her every day that I reckon you could weave it all together and knit a spare cat onto your rail.
Yeah, okay, James, GM4MK. Yeah, it was the connectors, that was why I thought there was something else I was going to comment on. And the Wago, the sort of most famous ones, I suppose, aren't they? Yeah, they've been around for some years now, haven't they? And other people have come up with similar ones and cheaper ones. You can also get 13 amp sockets and I'm not quite sure, probably light switches as well now with those spring connectors built in, so you don't have to fiddle about with screws and so forth. I dare say they're a bit more expensive, but so it saves a lot of time for the electricians, as you say, Peter. I think you're supposed to put them in a box to make them kind of legal, as it were, to make sure that nobody can fiddle about with them. But I think always like all these electrical regulations, it depends on the sort of particular circumstances, I think. But if we are in a loft or something, maybe you could leave them open. But you can buy these boxes that they fit in and sort of just clip together, or maybe put a cable tie on over them, just to stop anybody quickly accessing the things with no tools or anything, which obviously you could do with the spring-loaded ones, if they're left accessible. But yeah, they're useful, aren't they? For hooking up DC stuff, for our purposes, aren't they? Not just for 240 volt wiring. I suppose they're basically made for solid wire, aren't they? But I think there are ones that you could get that are suitable for stranded wire as well.
I was going to say about the chock blocks, I forgot to say last time. So I just got it.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's how I ended up blowing that fuse in the power supply. all that confusion that time, trying to get a load of wires into one chock block like that. Basically what I've got with these Larkspur receivers, what you have with the socket on the front coming out to feed it to power them standalone, you've got a lead coming out there with 4 wires coming out, a pair of wires for your audio and a pair of wires for your 24 volt DC. So consequently I have a lead coming from the power supply with a chock block on it. So you've got to have both of those leads. You've obviously got to have running off a common supply. So you've got 2 wires going into each chock block then. And next to those you've got the 2 audio outputs, obviously going into separate speakers, so going into a separate pair of chock blocks each. So yeah, you can imagine with all that, it got a bit muddled up, and I thought that's how I ended up inadvertently shorting something and blowing the fuse in the power supply. Anyway, back to you, Ray.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Happened a few weeks ago. Yeah. All fine on the connectors. Anyway, that was what I forgot about. So round to you, Peter. And signals are holding up well. GM4MK, go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, no, it was more the fact that I don't know how GM4MK, GM8JCF. It was more the fact of that I've had to live so long of my electrical life without having these Wago connectors or ideal lever things. That I just wish I'd known about this years and years and years ago. And never mind mains, just DC connections. My power supply's only got one output. A pair of, ground, 0 and plus. And so these things, if you're connecting in more than one device, then it's old chocolate block time. And these things are just so superb, and they're so cheap. That's the other thing. They're so simple. They're dead cheap, really reliable. They're fully BS rated and all the rest of it. In terms of current ratings, these things are rated with 25 amps and 30 amps and all this palaver. So it's one of the things that was a really good day today, was finding out about these things. Pure accidental, because Fiona had picked them up from her uncle's garage after he passed away and brought them back home, sort of not knowing exactly what they were for, but she thought they must be useful. And I had a look at them and I thought maybe there must be a way of making them work. So anyway, looked on Google and lo and behold discovered how to use them. It's kind of like, they're superb they are, that's all. That really made my day, by the way, after the mess of of things not going quite right with the nurse. So really made my day that they could use these things. So James, I absolutely would recommend you buy some of these, and they're dirt cheap, by the way. You don't have to buy packs of 50 and 60. You can go on eBay and just put in Wago, WAGO, and you find people selling packs of 10 or 5 for a $5, that kind of thing. But it just makes wiring things up so much simpler. And the ones with the lever latches, that's what I sent you, they can handle standard wire. The ones where you just poke it in, I think really are meant for solid core, like you get with mains wiring. But anyway, just what a revelation for me today. Anyway, it's kind of like how come I've been so long and I didn't know about this? I've had to mess around, twisting bits of wire together and sticking them into one whole of a chocolate block, or making up jumper wires to go all down one side of a chocolate block to make a common for the other side. What's the other way of doing it in the old days anyway? So, never mind. You'll live and learn. It's good though. It's good. No, I don't know why, but did Dennis drop off, or did we miss out Dennis last time round? I thought it went from me to you, James, and you to Dennis, and then Dennis to Ray, but maybe Dennis has dropped off. I don't know. Right, so about Ranchy there, James. M0FTP, GM8, JCF and company listening.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Yeah, I think I know the things you mean now. You've mentioned them. Yeah, with the mains wiring, with the house wiring, the usual thing is just to twist the end thing if you've got a pair of wires going in there, like the two-way switches, or, like your... I don't know what the modern term for my dad used to refer to, like a three-plate, the ceiling, the system, where you feed your switch line down and your rah-de-rah, where you've got like there appears to be an extra terminal, doesn't there, in the light fitting. Things like that where you've got sort of more than one wire going in one term, where you usually just with the solid single core stuff, you just twist them together, wouldn't you? That's the usual trick with that. But yeah, I'm glad you remember those safe block things. Yeah, we used to use them for similar things at the place I worked, making transformers. I didn't use them that often. Because I tended to test the sort of bigger sort of 5 kVA and up sort of transformers, so the big 3-phase one. And there was a lady who used to do the sort of smaller type stuff. But yeah, I remember having safe blocks there and a few other places. Well, quite useful things, aren't they? And variacs and that, of course. But yeah, I know those. I think I've seen those Wagyu connectors you talk about. I think I have come across them. Yeah, the one-use ones are a bit of a pain used in house wiring, aren't they? Because then I guess your only choice, if you can't get them over, is to chop the wires off. There's not always going to be enough length to sort of strip back and replace, is there? So so I'm not sure if they're such a good idea. Like the single-use ones like that are quite so good, but I can kind of see the appeal for them, I guess. Mind you, for that sort of use, I've never really thought there was anything that much wrong with the sort of screw type connections. I suppose it's going to be quicker with those Wagyu things, isn't it? But hey ho, I'm a Luddite anyway, you know that. Okay, yeah, Dennis, I'm not sure if we left you out last time. Apologies this time. So would you like to take a transmission now? Hey there, Dennis.
Sounds like he's gone, so... Okay, GM4MK. But he's to go away with leaving a gap anyway in case he's had to go away and intending coming back. Just trying to think of that Monty Python saying it's the Black Knight. 'Tis but a scratch. That's the name of the scene on
It's only a flesh wound.
That's the name of the that sort of segment from the Holy Grail film. Not much else to comment on. I don't think with the connectors and so forth. Possibly those where you push the wire in and you can't pull it out again. Perhaps they're more suitable for leaving where there could possibly be access and to unauthorised people and and you maybe haven't got room to put the things in another enclosure, but I never really never really used those. I've just got a box of mixed ones. It's got the different ones, different size ones in, and the lever type ones. There is a kind of a two-sided lever one, made I think possibly by somebody else. So you can put the thing sort of in line, rather than having to have them sort of splayed out like you do with the normal Wago ones. But so all sorts of clever things have occurred, haven't they, over the years to speed the jobs up anyway. Right, not much else then, so over to you again then, later in the absence of Dennis, and see if there's anything else there from GM4RMK.
Disappearing now.
Peter's disappeared as well then, so I'm just looking at the maker of these ideal ones. I've never come across that make before, but I see Screwfix do them, so they look the same as the Wago connector, same idea anyway. Alright then, James, so nothing much else to comment on, I don't think so. If either Dennis or Peter reappear, then perhaps think about wrapping it up then. GM4RMK.
Okay, I don't think I've got much else to add, in the absence of Peter or Dennis, I guess we might as well call it a night round.
Okay then. I'm not sure if you heard Dave say earlier on, this chap Jordan or something on 40 metres. I think I've heard you mention his name. I don't think I've heard him. I don't spend much time on 40, but apparently he's in Norfolk, and he was a good signal on 40, Dave said, so I wasn't sure if you caught that or not. Okay then, cheers for now, and look out for you tomorrow then, GM4RMK.
I did, it's Gordon, isn't it? G3PXT. He did say he was doing something in Norfolk. I worked him a couple of weeks ago, but he's quite a character, he is. Alright, nothing else to add, I don't think so. Good night to you, Ray. Good night, Peter and Dennis, if you are listening. And of course it's Thursday, isn't it? So doesn't Peter's radio traditionally play up on a Thursday? Something to do with software updating something, so that might be something to do with it, but we'll look through about Dennis. So we'll catch up tomorrow, I'm sure. Good night to you, Ray. This is Mike 0 Sierra Tango Papa closing down.
GM8 JCF, you guys still there, over?
We are.
Okay, what happened was the USB sound card that takes my microphone into the PC fell out of its USB socket, and when I plugged it back in and it didn't work, I had to put it into a different USB socket for it to work. So anyway, now it's working again. So I'm hoping I'm coming through, no problem to anybody. Back to you there, Ray. GM4RMK, GM8JCF with STP listing.
a bit of distortion on your signal, Peter. Yeah, I just saw your message pop up, so I don't know if you sent it a few minutes ago. I didn't notice. So yeah, okay, yeah, you're back on, but yeah, a bit of a wobble on the audio, Peter. So yeah, we were just wrapping it up anyway. So glad you can, or you spotted the problem anyway, Peter. Okay, GM4RMK, just listening.
Yeah, there is something odd going on because there's a burble on the received audio, but I don't think it's radio related. I think it's PC. I think it's my machine. It's probably in need of its weekly reboot. Anyway, have a good rest of the evening, guys. Take care. It's been an interesting conversation. And, yeah, James, those Wagyu things are absolutely superb. Absolutely. Made my day finding them today. Anyway, take care. Good night, everybody, and speak again soon. GM8 JCF is saying 73s and listening.
Yeah, you got a little bit of sort of breaking up on your audio again, but it is Thursday night, so I suspect it's something to do with that, possibly, Peter.
Yeah, it could be. Actually, yes, it could be the high CPU thingy when the backup's going on. Maybe I think maybe actually I'm going to reschedule the backup to a different time. Yeah, to a different time. Okay, take care. Thanks a lot. And speak to you again soon. Good night, GM8 to JCF, signing clear. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Mike 0 Sierra Tango Papa Green.